Hey guys, welcome to episode 43 of Better Body Radio, and today I'm actually joined by a very special guest, Mrs. Better Body herself, wifey Mal. So Coach Mal joins us today on the podcast. It was a bit of a last minute thing that we decided to do. We had a little bit of time, we had 20, 30 minutes, and we thought, well, you know what, let's get a little podcast. I'm meaning to do one together for quite a while. And today we thought, I had a list of topics that I've been meaning to talk about, and one of the ones that stood out recently was, because we've been asked by a lot of potential clients recently, like, what is the big difference between what you guys do and maybe if I go and hire a personal trainer at the gym, so one of the other trainers in the gym. And I think the big thing that came up for us straight away is that what we do is it goes far, far beyond just personal training. And there's nothing inherently wrong with just personal training if that's what you're looking for. But what we offer is what we define as full coaching. It's a coaching process, a coaching journey. And so we thought we'd just dive into what are the big differences between personal training and coaching. So this was a very short and quick one, but some really good points covered in there. And if you're someone who is a coach, this may be something that maybe gives you a little bit of thought and introspection of okay, well, where do I sit, and am I happy being that service that's a personal trainer where I deliver that best hour of someone's day, and I'm really happy with doing just that for the meantime and developing my craft and everything else? Or are you in the position where you would consider yourself more a coach where, yes, the training is important, but you've also got a huge amount of time and effort placed into the outside of that hour of the training. It's placed into things like the lifestyle, the habits, really creating a kind of journey and a kind of an experience for someone that really transcends just their time in the gym and really spills over into every other aspect of their life. So that's what we covered today. So grab a coffee, or if you're listening on your commute to work, turn it up on the radio, and we hope you guys enjoy this one. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Better Body Radio, and today I am joined by Mal to discuss the difference between personal training and coaching. Should we dive in?
Yes.
We've got our wonderful assistant Aleko alongside us with the podcast today, which he's just sitting here purring away, so we'll just enjoy his company for once. So this is just a topic that I think we've both discussed quite often, both with clients, and I think just when people ask us about what it is we do and kind of what makes Better Body Collective potentially different, what is personal training and what is coaching, and how are we actually going about differentiating those two things. So I'll kind of take the lead on this one, and then Mal, just literally dive in when you feel you got some stuff to add, right?
Yes.
So yeah, with personal training, I think that for me, and this is kind of how I've explained it to a lot of my clients, I think the traditional model of personal training is that you trade time for money, right? It's like any other consultation-based service. I'm going to give you an hour of my time so that I can deliver expertise in the area of delivering training, getting the most out of your training. And in exchange, there's obviously an hourly fee for that, right? Now, the thing is with personal training is that I think the industry has evolved a lot because we understand that clients have a lot more needs than just training. In fact, if anything, training's probably, as far as the hierarchy of importance, it's probably one of the things that end up ranking lower down for what most of the clients need that come to us.
Yeah, and we used to offer in the past just personal training, and we used to kind of include nutrition coaching in that. And I think nowadays some trainers do, some trainers don't. The emphasis is on the hour, on the training. And I guess we found that we weren't really given, doing it that way didn't really give the nutrition lifestyle, the coaching element, the time that it really needed in order to generate a result, because there's only so much you can do in that hour. And you might say that, okay, you'll get a meal plan, but giving someone a meal plan doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to get a result, because it's not about the meal plan, it's about the support, the rest of the hours. Like if you do 3 hours in a week with a trainer, what about the other, how many hours that's remaining?
Well, even if you split into a day, it's 1 hour a day of personal training, and it's 23 hours a day where there's other stuff to navigate and get on with. So
I think we found that there was definitely, we weren't able to get the results that we wanted with our clients because we were focusing just on the training. So we were getting results, but it wasn't really optimized. And then I think what happened after that is that we moved on to online coaching as well. So we had personal training and we had online coaching. And then we realized, we're actually almost getting better results from online coaching than personal training, because we really were able to then focus on the nutrition side of things. And it took us a year or so, I think, to even get the processes in place that we needed to coach people online. And then the next step for us, I guess, was to look at, how can we get the best of both worlds? We love personal training. It's great. Nothing can really beat that hands-on element the personal training can, but how can we also combine that with the advantage of online coaching that we got with our online clients and put that into one service. And that's how we last year restructured how we do things. And since then, we've been able to deliver a much higher standard service to our clients.
Yeah, and I think that there's a key takeaway message from that is that we're not coming from a place of, well, the way we do things is the way to do things, but I think we've been in the industry for around 10 years now, and so is our coaches Max and Charlie, and so we've all kind of seen like what works, what doesn't, how things have moved and evolved with because technology and just the way that coaching is delivered has changed so much in the industry over the last decade. The way that online coaches are operating and the sheer volume, and then in fact you almost argue that online coaching has become a bit of a sub-industry within the industry itself, right? And so I think I completely agree with Mal. I think it's kind of like when you just tag on arms or calves at the end of your training session, it's just a bit of an afterthought, right? It's not really getting the full attention it deserves, and then you wonder why your arms or your calves or whatever else don't grow. Well, it's kind of the same thing with that side of coaching. Like if you just nutrition is like just a bit of a side conversation within your training sessions, well, what starts then to happen is you're no longer putting all of your focus and effort and intent on what that hour is meant to be about, which is getting the most out of your training and getting a good stimulus and adaptation.
And you would get questions in the session, or what should I eat after the session, or X, Y, and Z. And it just ended up being, well, this is not an ideal use of time. And that's how we thought the nutrition and the coaching really needed to have its own thing.
Well, it's half-arsed. You get half-arsed training session, and you also get half-arsed answers because you've not got the time to sit and say, well, hold on a minute, this is not just a yes, no, this or that answer. This is a, right, what's currently going on in your life? What is your work demands? What stresses you got going on? Where's your current composition? How is this going to play in with things like your training, your recovery, your lifestyle? And so we realized that, with how multifaceted the actual coaching approach is, and how, the training and the nutrition have to be somewhat interrelated to each other, as does, right, well, are we going to get you to train 5 days a week, but you don't have the first of all, the time, the money, or even the recovery ability to actually do that? So it's kind of like we always say is that it's not like training and nutrition can be separated, but that's even oversimplifying it a lot, because it's actually training, nutrition, digestion, sleep, lifestyle, psychological health, all that stuff is also intertwined within the coaching process.
You can't do that within the hour. So hence why we decided that, to deliver a high standard 360 service, we have to focus on both, and one will be managed mostly online outside of the hour, and the other will be on the hour. And I think for a lot of people who, approach us coaches, they think, well, I look for a personal trainer. And I think a lot of people, they might be seeing a personal trainer, but not really getting anywhere, and, end up spending a lot of money on just training, when actually to get optimal results, the nutrition is so important. And it doesn't matter whether you want to fat loss, whether you want to build muscle and, achieve more of an athletic physique, nutrition matters. And you almost need coaching specific to each of these different phases as well, to be able to ultimately get to a point where you've reached your goals. If you can ever reach your goals, it's always evolving. So that's when people ask us for our personal training prices. We're like, we don't actually offer personal training, we offer coaching. And we don't assume that people know that's different. People don't always understand what that means.
I think that's quite easy to do. I mean, if I were just to ask the audience listening right now, just flip it on you guys, right? If I were to say to you, like, as a consumer of fitness, when you pay for a personal training service, what's the first thing that most people usually ask? What's the cost per session? What's your packages? And as a result, the consumer puts all of the value on, well, it's all about how much value I'm getting from that hour. And that presents a problem, like you say, with what we found and why we changed the way we were doing things. Because we found that once that hour was done, you had a client's full attention, well, for the most part, for most clients, full attention, full focus, full effort. And then when that session was done, it was just go back to your normal habits, routines that were the very things that led you into the place that you currently are. And so that the way we saw it is that, well, it's remiss of us, and I wouldn't say negligent, but it would be for us to work in a way that's ethical to our values, beliefs as coaches, and also what we want to get out of clients. With, like you ultimately said, people want results. People, when you pay a personal trainer, let's be honest, you want to change your body composition. You want to see changes.
You're not paying for a training program. You're not paying for someone to count reps for an hour. You're ultimately investing in yourself, in your health, in your goals, in your results. And as coaches, we need to deliver those results, or help you through that process of deliver those results. And I think, we realized a few years ago that we weren't, and hence why we've now changed how we do things and how we set up things, and for the better. 100%. So, and I think before we finish off, it's nothing wrong with just wanting personal training.
Yes.
But I think if you're someone who's struggling with your body composition, with your health, with your energy, you're not getting results, you might have seen personal trainers in the past, perhaps another personal trainer is not what you need. Perhaps for some people that is just what you want and you're quite happy, you just want to kind of, maintain your lifestyle. That's fine. We're not the coaches to help you then.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's fine. So it's just important to be really clear, I think, with the distinction. It's not that one thing is better than the other. It's just a different outcome or a different focus.
Yeah, I mean, we're catering to a very specific market. And to be honest, a lot of the clients that do come to us, they are people who have had multiple personal trainers in the past. And so there's a couple of things there. I mean, we can get this a whole different podcast in itself, the actual standard of delivery. And one thing that often people, notice about our in-person side of our business, so wow, this is so much more technical, skilled, detailed, that we're able to dive in and actually get people to really move with proper biomechanics and really execute. And so, yeah, people still would then say, right, this is so much value I'm getting from that hour. But then even then, because of all the expertise that we have as a team, it's when we actually present people with, right, well, listen, you're investing in this whole thing. And I think that was kind of key to what we discussed at the start, is people would pay for the personal training package. They're paying for personal training. But when they almost invest, and it's like, listen, there's a component of this that is your investment that is towards the personal training, but there's also a component of this that's an investment towards coaching. And I think often people will commit to things more, not only when there's an investment of time and effort, but also when there's an actual financial, tangible investment. And when you've not got that, like, for example, say it was like for our VIP package, someone's doing 3 times a week and we were only going to charge someone for the personal training component. If there wasn't that additional price tag for the coaching element, they wouldn't take it quite as seriously or be quite as committed to the process. So I think that's really important, that people understand that when you invest in such a process, the reason why it comes with a price tag like ours does is because, listen, this goes way beyond that 1 hour. We are going to look after you all 24 hours a day. We're going to look at everything. We're going to look at your digestion. We're going to look at your sleep and hold you accountable on a daily basis if you need it as well.
Yeah. And another thing as well, in terms of cost-wise and investment-wise, and yeah, it might seem like quite top-heavy if you're starting off with 3 times a week with us. You're going to be able to find more expensive coaches. You're probably going to be able to find coaches who charge us less, but yeah, it's probably going to be more top heavy than the average trainer. But if you spend 3 to 6 months with us doing that, and then you can drop down to, say, just coaching if you want to, you're not going to need, like, over the course of the year or over the course of 2 years, you'll actually end up spending less because you get your results faster. You get that support on every level more intensely. And then our online coaching only is much more affordable compared to just having the average person or just doing personal training. But so it's just how do you look at it? Do you look at, okay, this is going to be expensive for 3 months, but then if you can drop down to twice a week and then maybe once a week and then maybe do no training, because you now know how to train, you know how to execute, you know why you're doing what you're doing, and all we're doing is looking after your programming, nutrition, keeping you accountable, you'll actually end up saving a lot of money from just hiring a trainer who charges you less, but that you are dependent on for a year.
You literally just hit the nail on the head. What I was thinking on is that's one of the big dependent is becoming independent versus staying dependent. I think the other thing as well is just I made a post on this recently, didn't I? Is that pay cheap, pay twice. There's probably even more than that. Most of our guys have been to like 3-4 trainers, so they've paid cheap and end up paying for years and years and years, not really seeing any change in their body, any change in their habits, because no one's had those tough conversations. No one's really tapped into, like, listen, why do you really want this? And what are you willing to do to move the needle on this? Because you've been training for 4 years and your body doesn't look any different. You're not making any progress. And I think that's a big distinction between someone who's going to be a coach who's really going to meet you where you are, but also challenge you, so that they're just putting you in just enough of a discomfort beyond where you currently are right now in order to start affecting change. And so, like, I made that post about, for that very reason, is that people are often paying cheap and paying for a much longer period of time. You're paying like a lower cost, but you pay that over 4 years, 5 years, even 10 years. And then that's not even including all the potential, especially if you get a coach who's not very good at looking after you from a movement point of view. Then there's all the chiro, the physio, whatever else that might be on top of that as well. However, you pay for that expertise, top heavy, like Mal said in the beginning, for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. All of a sudden, you've now got a wide base of knowledge, a wide skill set that you can apply on your own. And now you don't need us anymore. But one thing that's really cool about how we work with people is that people often achieve something and they want to achieve the next thing. And so we would rather let people stay with us because they want to, not because they need to. And for us, that's part of that ethical kind of do no harm, but also leave people in a better position when we leave them, or when they leave us, than when we found them.
Yeah, and again, for some people, it's not going to be what they want. They might not be ready to dive into the lifestyle, to the nutrition, to make those changes, and they just want to do some training. And, that's probably better than nothing still, compared to doing nothing 100%. But again, it's not what we do with people.
All right, guys, so that's a wrap there. So we kind of just went a bit kind of freestyle on that. We didn't have any pre-prepared script or answers or anything like that. We just kind of went off the cuff there. So we kind of just thought we would talk until we were both done, pretty much. So hope you guys really enjoyed that. Now, cut straight to the chase. If coaching is something you're much more interested in versus personal training, then that is very much what we do at the Better Body Collective. Now, whether you work with us in person or online, it's a coaching framework, a coaching relationship that you're signing up to. It's very much a coaching framework, and it's a journey. We're going to really guide you and take you through a full journey that covers all facets of your lifestyle. So everything from sleep, stress, digestion, nutrition, and then of course the training side of things as well. So if you guys are interested in understanding a little bit more about what we do coaching wise, click on the link in the description here. If you're watching this on YouTube, go down to the description below and you'll find the link that you can just apply for coaching. So click on that application link, fill out a very brief application form, and then we'll take it from there. If you guys want to support us on the podcast and want to help us reach more people, and that's ultimately what we want from this, guys, want to get good quality information in front of as many people as we possibly can, then the best way to support us outside of actually working with us is to 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you're watching this on something like Stitcher or Spotify, take a screenshot from your phone and post it on your Instagram stories and tag us in there at Better Body Collective. That's the best way you can support us outside of actually working directly with us. Thanks again, guys. Until next time, take it easy.